You got the touch. You got the power.
Arise, Rodimus Prime.
Optimus.
Today I'm going to do one of my movie reviews. We're going to do Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Me and the family just saw this movie today, so it's fresh in my mind. And we also watched Jumanji the original a couple days ago, and we bought the board game. So now it's a Jumanji all week. So now I know that the old Jumanji, the new Jumanji, and the board game. With this video, I'm going to go through the good in this movie, the bad in this movie, other stuff that I thought would be mentioned, and I'm going to go through each character and just describe them and tell you what their best part. First, we'll go through the characters. Dwayne Johnson, biggest name in the movie. As the Avatar, he was Dr. Smolder Bravestone, an archaeologist, explorer, and was Spencer, his avatar. Spencer was a nerd, a young kid in high school, friends with the jock Fridge, doing his homework for him, and he loved video games. Jack Black, he was actually, his avatar was a male, and his real life person was a female. He was Professor Sheldon Shelley Oberon, a cartographer, cryptographer, archaeologist, and paleontologist. Now, Bethany she was the snobby, popular girl in high school, always on her phone, and just taking selfies. And then you had Karen Gillan, who was actually Nebula in the Guardians movies. She was Ruby Roundhouse, was her avatar, a commando martial artist and dance fighter. Now, her real human was Martha. She was this shy, almost like emo girl who, questioned the teacher. Why are you in PE, teacher? Why do I gotta take PE? There's other stuff that's not gonna get me into Harvard. And then you had Kevin Hart. His human was Fridge, big, tall, African-American football player who was actually getting Spencer to do his homework. And his avatar was Franklin Mouse Finbar. He was a short zoologist, weapons specialist. He actually thought his name was Moose, but it was actually Mouse since he's so small. And then you had Nick Jonas as Jefferson Seaplane McDonough. That was his avatar, but his real name was Alex. He's the kid that the movie starts off with from 1996 that got sucked into the game. Now, let's get back to my review. Alright, now Dwayne Johnson. I think my favorite part of him was in the bizarre fight. When they're fighting the bad guys, and he's playing a video game. He's like, first uppercut, duck, throw you against the wall. Blank. It was almost like a Batman show. Kablam, kapow. He had a lot of good parts. It was actually hard for me to pick out his favorite parts since he had so many. Kevin Hart. One of his weaknesses was cake. And so having him eat what he thought was bread was actually pound cake. But then all of a sudden he exploded. And another part was him confronting Dwayne Johnson, his friend Spencer, because he's a short guy, and usually the roles are reversed. And he's pushing him, and he's slapping him, and he's just, it's funny. Jack Black, Bethany. Oh my God, the favorite part of her was when she was in the Avatar, and she had to pee. Now this is a female high school girl, and all of a sudden is in an older man's body and has to pee. Oh my God, that part had the whole movie audience cracking up. It's got a handle, how do I do it? This is easy. And then the other favorite part was her teaching Martha how to be sexy, because Martha was in Karen Gillan's body, and they needed her to distract these two guys. And it's just Kevin Black teaching someone else how to be sexy. It was funny. And then Martha, her favorite part was the seductress scene. when Jack Black was teaching how to be sexy to distract these two guards, I mean, she walks up there like kind of awkward, kind of like Nebula with a broken leg. You know, she was a cyborg. She was walking funny and, you know, had to tilt her hair back, and she's just floundering. And then finally she realizes, you know, the music plays, and then she starts fighting because she's a dance fighting is her specialty. That was funny too. The good parts of the movie. I love the acting. The kids pretending to be adults. You know, reminds you of Big. And this is what I hope to see on the Shazam movie coming out next year with, you know, a kid in an adult body. The chemistry between the stars. Oh my God. You have Jack Black and Nick Jonas. You have between Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson. The part with Jack Black and Karen Gillan. I mean, I love the chemistry between all the stars. Little callbacks to the game. I can't think of the hunter's name, but he was the same name as the hunter in the original Jumanji. They had a rhino in the movie, and there was a rhino in the movie, and if you play the board game, the rhino is a big part of the board game. The beginning of the video game was the same as the beginning of the board game in the middle. Alan Parrish, Robin Williams' character. You actually had his tree fort in this one. That's where the Alex character was living in. The elephant played a big part. It was a stampede and an alligator. These all played a part in the first Jumanji. Overall, the effects are pretty good. The way the kids were drawn into the game, the way they came out of the game, the way they exploded. I like how when they died, they came back. The story. I like how it was updated from a board game into a video game. The whole point of the movie was Alex finds the game on a beach in 1996. Now, the last time we saw the game, the two children had attached cinder blocks and chains to it and dropped in a river in 1969. So this is 27 years later, 96, and it gets washed up on a beach where Alex finds it. So Alex brings it home, sees it's a board game, puts it on his shelf. No, and he makes a mention no one plays with board games nowadays. So in the middle of the night, you hear the drums beat, and he opens up the game, and instead of a board game, it's a video game cartridge now. So that's when he puts it in his video game console, and the game starts just like the video game starts like the board game, and then he disappears. That was pretty good. Like I said, the Alan Parrish part was funny. The peeing part, again, with Jack Black learning how to pee. You got to see that. Well, if you're watching this, I assume this is a spoiler review. I forgot to say spoiler, but it'll be in the title. Oh my, laughing. The whole movie theater I was in, it was about halfway full, and they were just laughing. And the helicopter scene. How it couldn't go up, it could only go straight, and there was a stampede behind it. Not your typical helicopter through in the canyon. I thought that was pretty good too. Now that was the good. The bad, really the only bad part was the CGI when Martha was jumping near the end on top of the mountain. It looked video game-ish. I don't know if that was the whole part, but the whole movie had real good effects, but that one part was bad. And I did not get enough of the riddles of Jumanji. I didn't see any monkeys, no earthquake. Stuff like that would have been a nice drawback if they would have had the riddles throughout the movie. But other than that, I didn't see any bad things in this movie. Other stuff. It was almost like the Breakfast Club or the new Power Rangers theme. 4 kids, all different backgrounds in detention. You know, what their whole idea was to clean out the basement of their school and remove staples. That's when Spencer finds the game and plugs it in. And then they all try to play the game. Now, they can't play the first character because it's locked. which happens to be Alex from 1996. And I guess this is now, they say 20 years. So it would be 2016, even though it's now 2018. But I just, let's say the movie takes place in 2016. I love how they did the characters well. Dwayne Johnson puts his hand on his heart, and then all of a sudden his strength pops up, his weaknesses popped up. They had 3 lives in the game, which they had 3 vertical bars on their hand, and when they lost a life, 1 disappeared. I thought that was pretty good. Kevin Hart's backpack of weapons. Anytime you needed something, you reach in there, bolt pliers, they need to get through a fence. The boomerang, which actually that could have been bad. He was an expert in boomerang. He did the boomerang 1 time, and it disappeared. Let's see. Jack Black teaching Martha Carrot to be sexy. I didn't mention this before, but it is funny. The Indiana Jones part. Under the bazaar, when Alex finds him, you know, he's going through and then he's like, step to the wall, darts fly out. If you step on the wet footprints, razor blades come out. Typical Indiana Jones lore craft, and it was done really good. Kevin Hart on Johnson's back, running through the jungle. Hilarious. And then at the very end, just like in the movie, at first the house is all dilapidated. The house that Alex lived in, there was his father was there. He was an old grumpy man. And then after the game, the house is vibrant, new fresh coat of paint. The guy's happy. A minivan pulls up with Alex and a couple of kids. And then meanwhile, you have the 4 main kids are walking along the street by the house. So Alex, part of the story was, the way when he found out it was 20 years later was Jiggy, Cindy Crawford, terms from 1996, and they're all like, you know, Cindy Crawford's in her 50s now. But he's still in his, so now we're back to 2016, and he's still wearing a Metallica shirt, which was pretty cool. And then he sees the 4 kids walk in. He's got his baby in his hand, and he walks up to him and goes, "You're Bethany?" And she goes, "Yeah, you're Spencer, you're Fridge, and you're Fridge, Spencer, Martha." And he mentions that he named his first daughter Bethany. Because during the movie, at one point, one of his weaknesses was mosquitoes. And he was about to die, and he's down to his last life. And Bethany gave him CPR and gave one of her lives to him. So he basically owed Bethany his life. So he named his first kid Bethany. Overall, I gave this movie a 9.5 out of 10. The only reason why I didn't give it a 10 is I wish they would have picked up more on the original Jumanji. I would like to see more riddles. I would like to see the not one monkey in the movie, at least that I saw. No earthquakes. I would like to see more of that. But other than that, I mean, if they had some old callbacks to that, I would have given this movie a 10 out of 10. But still, 9.5 out of 10 was pretty darn good. I highly recommend people seeing this movie a second time. I think me and the kids will go before they go back to school again. Because one time, there's subtle hints that you might have missed the first time, but you missed the second time. But, so, that is my Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle review. I hope everybody liked this video. Please subscribe to my channel. I mostly do Transformer and DC comic reviews, but I did a review for The Last Jedi. I did a review for Justice League, and I did a review for Thor Ragnarok. So subscribe to my channel, share this with all your friends, and like it. And please check out my whole channel. I'm sure you'll like it. This is Rada Spill saying, till all are one, till all are one. Have a nice day.